You are looking live at a daily chart of the Nasdaq today. It was Groundhog Day, just like every other day since Jerome Powell said he's going to lower interest rates. Pretty much, he implied that. But anyway, the Nasdaq technically, it did not make a new low today. As you can see here, the low yesterday was 17,439. Today, the low was 482. But you can see it's starting this downtrend below, the moving averages. Uh, Today it closed just a tick above this magenta line, which is the 21, but it sliced to 50, sliced to 10, and it just has no strength. It did, if I take a look at a 5-minute chart, it did show strength in the open higher, powered higher. Then what happened? Sold off into the close, which is very bearish action for the Nasdaq. Had a nice rally off the low of 15,708, but that rally has stalled and seems to be all but over. Does have a gap to fill here at 17,260, which is not that far away. Anyway, the volume on today's 39-point loss, or 0.23%, was 6% above the average 50-day. There you can see strong volume in today's sell-off. It did close at 17,516. So the Nasdaq is the weakest of the indexes. It's a laggard. Today I put the Nasdaq on yellow, and the rest of the market's doing pretty well. It's still green, but really you could put Nasdaq red. That's a real caution sign there. SPY is just setting up here. You could see it, bounced off its 10 today, which a lot of stocks did. So the SPY looks pretty good. And if you take a look at the equal weight RSP, this is it's an ETF corresponding to the S&P 500 equal weight. So it takes out those large mega cap stocks, props them at the knee, and just equal weight like with every other of the 500 stocks. And you can see the Mag 7 or the mega cap tech stocks are a laggard on this index because the equal weight is doing well. MDY, the mid cap, looks pretty strong. I got to go to the weekly because it's just 2.3% off its high. So anything that close, to its high is strong. Where the Dow is making a new high today. I'm on the weekly. You can see the daily made a new high. So Dow, the SPY, the MDY, and the IWM are all outperforming the Nasdaq. How do I know? Well, this is above all its moving averages. It did give some back today. It was much higher. There you go. Kind of looks like the Nasdaq was ramped up and then sold off into the close, which we do not like to see. But still, it's above all of its moving averages. They're 1.1% above the 10, 2% above the 21. And you can see the moving averages stacked, the 10, the 21, the 50. The low of the session has been above the 21 for one. Let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's in a power trend right there for the Russell 2000. So definitely outperforming. Anyway, like I said, this is Groundhog Day. And so I'm not going to go through all the Mag 7 stocks. You know which ones are doing well. I will show NVIDIA because they did report earnings, and today sliced to 50 here. So that's a real bad sign for NVIDIA. You would think that institutions would support this thing, but they didn't. It sold off into the close as well. Much like the index, you could see just all day long, there's no strength there. High volume close into the lows of the session. So that does not look good for the Nasdaq. I mean, NVIDIA. All right, I'm going to get to what is working. I'm going to go quickly because these are just the same names that I've been, pounding the table on every darn day. And a lot of them are extended, but, I want to show a couple that, are actionable, like GE. This one's still actionable. It's starting to push away from its base here. A lot of the aerospace stocks have really taken off. GE still, near its moving averages and near this base here, but it is starting to push away from that flat base pattern. I traded Spotify for GE just, because I wanted to be defensive and just kind of go with what the market gives you. It's the market that we have and not the one that we want. AVAV, another of these defense names, popped yesterday and just had an inside day today. Nice 5% inside day. These defense names are super strong. FTAI Aviation making a new high, CW, same stocks. I mean, just I know if I bought this though, it would sell off 5% in a day. That's why I don't chase stuff. That's just my experience. So they're gonna go higher without me, except for GE. I bought GE. LMT, another one, super strong. NOC, I believe this one made a new high today. Yeah. So, and then we go to the REITs. I mean, this is a new one that I just noticed today, made a new high. Just, these REITs were just super strong. SLG, which is SL Green Realty. This one is not actionable, but it's close to its 10 EMA. And that one looks pretty good as well. A VNO, another REIT. AHR, these are just strong. This one's pulling back to its moving average. And the last one is MFA, which I don't own any of these, but you could see it broke out of a base here. Out of a stage one base, and now it's emerging. That one still looks like it might be actionable there. Barely. Okay, about 1250, I wouldn't be chasing anything past that. I'm not going to put it on my ready list tomorrow, though. That ship has sailed. HRTG, the insurance group, making a new high today. If you look at the weekly, this looks like a high tide flag. It's up 9% this week. I had this big week, and man, up straight up from the bottom, and this thing didn't pull back much. Just a little bit here, just like a shelf type pattern or flag here. And now today broke above. So Heritage looks good. Bro, got to show Bro showing insurance, making new highs. AJG, same thing. These things are all just super strong. And then MCY, which we had on our ready list a couple weeks ago, this keeps making new highs. And then Allstate, they raised premiums 43% in California today. I think if you live in California, you don't pay enough and your utilities and your property taxes, you got to pay 43% increase in insurance. So Allstate sticking it to the consumer, and the stock made a new high in that news. Some of the other names, the utilities, these things are extended. This is a PG&E, making new highs. The utilities usually don't act this way. EIX is Southern California, Edison International, making new highs. The one that's still actionable, not totally blast off, is NEE. I mean, it was up 0.75% today, but just close to its 10, So I want to get it close to its 10, consolidating tight within its base, because many of them are just long gone. And I'm not going to chase. I don't do that. So you got defense, you got the REITs, you got the insurance, you got the utilities. I mean, how about the HVAC, the sexy air conditioning group fix? So I have on our ready list was up only $8 today, not bad. Made a new high. Train made a new high. Car, these things all look pretty darn good. Mod, I think I had that one on last week and pulled it off. Yeah, that one looks good as well. All right. Anyway, I've got to get to some of these other names here. CAVA. CAVA is interesting to me because it's got this gap higher, which we like, but it's got a low. So if it trades below that low of the gap day there, which is 110, then it's in your fill the gap zone. And today it traded down to 110.66. So just a tick above that level, which also coincides with that 10 EMA. So let's see if this thing bounces off its 10 EMA tomorrow, or if it crashes through it and gets into that gap zone where the 104.84 would come into play. So that's like a $6.16, wait a minute, $5.16 gap there. So that would be a nice move lower if you have puts, and then if you have the stock, you want it to go higher, of course. But anyway, CAVA is in, it's something to watch for tomorrow. Another retail name, Shark Ninja, that I have on my ready list. I like this pattern, and it just keeps teasing me like it's just going to keep breaking out. But today, I mean, it was up 2.5% on a day where the Nasdaq was down, but it was really looked like it was going to make a move. Yeah, it was up 94 14, you can see this move higher. Look, I was really going to ramp and then whoop, sell off into the close, which we do not like. And then ON, the shoe company, Birkenstock reported, pretty poor numbers, and that's sold off. And then On Holdings, I thought the shoe group was going to eat it today on Burke, but this thing held up well, had a bullish engulfing candle at following an inside day. So that one still looks good. That one's still on our ready list. All right, the hospital stocks. Got to go to these, right? Tenet looks great, fantastic. HCA, new highs. These things are just making new highs. So I decided that maybe it's a good idea to buy this one, ARDT. It's kind of a thinly traded one, but it's the IPO and it's breaking out. So take a swing at that one. Because I sold some of my tech stocks. So I don't want to be out of the game. I want to play what's working. All right. What is working? More of these financials. JP Morgan making a new high. FI, Fiserv making a new high. State Street making a new high. Even PayPal, right? PayPal making a new 52-week high. That one breaking out finally out of this stage 1 base. Up 2%. Looks pretty good for PayPal. Anyway, that's enough of the financials. I got to go to the software because software is really hit and miss. App looked like it was going to break out today, then pull back. It was still up 4%. But when you see these things start to ramp like this, you want them to show strength into the close. And this one kind of sold off. But still, with the Nasdaq doing what it did today to be up 4%, that's a good day. That's another one on our ready list. Same with ZETA, Zeta Global Holdings, which made a new high today. I like it above 25.53, and obviously it was up 3% and above that level today. So that one looks good. A couple of the cybersecurity names. CyberArk Software had it on the ready list last week. I think I took it off this week. Yeah, but showing strength, making new 52-week high here. And same with Fortinet. Fortinet looks good, finally breaking out of this cup with elongated handle and now pushing away. You can see the earnings line heading due north. So another name doing well despite the woes from the Nasdaq. All right, and then my drug stocks, a couple of them making new highs. Halo, HALO, AstraZeneca. I should have bought this one when it was here, but I never expected to move like that. This thing's gone parabolic, looks fantastic. And ALNY, we're making another new high today too. So the drug stocks, most of them acting pretty well. Our Eli Lilly, pull back to its 10 today. This thing's trading kind of like, the mega cap tech stocks. It's really stalling. Even with good news, it can't make, break to highs and continue forward with it, continue to higher prices. 972.48. It made that on Tuesday, and now it's just sold off the last couple of days. But all it did was pull back to its 10. So in reality, Eli Lilly has this kind of like cup with handle type pattern as it pulls back to its 10. Let's see if it can bounce higher. It's had a lot of good news lately. Not a lot of reward for that. All right. That's it for me. Like I said, it's just, Groundhog Day, same stocks are working. Those that aren't working, it's pretty consistent. So thank you for watching. At mcstockcharts.com, we never give up. Except for, I do have one more thing in honor of the great Steve Jobs. I got to admit that I took a peek at DELL after hours, and now it's moving higher, 118. They had a nice beat. So it's going to, looks like it's going to trade above the 50 is 120. So let's see if we can get through that tomorrow. It's going to get rejected here. That's what I'm looking for in DELL tomorrow. But good, strong report. All they can do is, report good numbers. DELL looks good. ESTC, whoopsie, down 24% on a miss. That's going to hurt. That's going to be a big haircut tomorrow. You can't miss in this market. Lululemon, another miss here on, sales. EPS was okay. It's flat after hours, but man, that's a complete downtrend. LULU is in timeout. ULTA, another, God, these guys are making excuses, just terrible quarter, down 7% after hours. I'll have more in the morning on these, but I did not see MRVL. But it's up 5%, so that's good. Thank goodness. And then Autodesk after hours up 4%. And then MDB, I did see where that one was up like $40 or $37. Not bad. But these are in downtrends, have a lot of resistance to get through. The 200 is at 344. It's got a long way to go, a lot of work to do. Anyway, that's it for me. Tomorrow's Friday. Not a lot of earnings reports. We got through, the NVIDIA report. There will be some inflation data. You just got to recognize the change in the market and make the adjustments. Otherwise, you're just going to be stuck in the same stocks and they're going to be doing the same thing, going down. I saw Microsoft, people were getting excited. It was up like $10 today. It was closed up to terrible action. Tesla, just in no man's land. These things look awful. Meta looks a lot better than the others, but I showed you NVIDIA earlier. Apple actually looks the best out of all these. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And Google, they're going to break up Google. I think Google's going to be asked to be broken up. Took forever for it to rally up to the 21 that got pushed down. The big bully pushed it down. So those stocks are looking horrible. Amazon, same thing, hovering around the 200. So you got to make the adjustment or go to cash. And I did want to say, if you don't want like any of those, you don't want to chase those defense stocks, aerospace defense stock. There's a ETF XAR. It's not the real, it's a thinly traded ETF, but this is one of the exchange traded funds for the aerospace and defense group. And you can see it's, going parabolic like many of those stocks that I showed you. GE is like the only one that I'm really interested in that's near a buy point and close to its moving averages. The rest of them are just taken off. They're flying. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up.